It is late. You are lying there, staring at the ceiling, or maybe staring at your phone screen, and the rest of the world seems to be moving. You scroll through it. Someone got a promotion. Someone moved to a new city. Someone announced something. A baby, a business, a beginning, and you held your phone and smiled at the right places. But deep inside, something quietly ached because your life is still in the same place, the same walls, the same routine, the same questions you have been carrying for longer than you want to admit. How much longer? Is this it? Did I miss something? And tonight, without quite knowing why, you ended up here. You did not plan this. You just clicked or scrolled or followed a thought that led you to this exact moment. And I need you to understand something before I say anything else. That was not an accident. Chosen one. Stop. Breathe. Do not look away. I need you to hear this with every part of your attention. The moment you are sitting in right now, this quiet, late-night moment, was not the result of an algorithm. It was the result of an appointment. Someone found you. Not someone, the someone. The only one whose attention changes everything it lands on. And he sent me to tell you what he is doing in your life right now. What he has already set in motion. What he signed before you even knew you needed it. T.S. Lewis, one of the greatest theological minds who ever walked this earth, understood something about doors. He wrote about it in The Weight of Glory. He wrote these words: "The door on which we have been knocking all our lives will open at last. The door on which we have been knocking all our lives will open at last. Not eventually, not someday, at last." That word "at last" means the knocking is finished, the waiting is complete, the appointed hour has arrived, and chosen one, that door is yours, and it is opening right now. The God who made every resource in existence before you were born, before this nation was formed, before the first star was lit, this God sat down and wrote you a plan. Not a vague plan, not a maybe plan, not a if things go well plan, a specific plan, an architectural blueprint with your name written on the corner. He said it himself in Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope." Plans, plural. He does not have one option for your life with a backup if the first one fails. He has plans, multiple architectural designs that all lead to the same glorious destination, and not one of them looks like where you are right now. Now I want you to hold this image in your mind for a moment. Imagine the wealthiest person who has ever existed on this earth. Not a billionaire you can name, not someone with a net worth measured in the billions. Imagine the owner, the one who owns every silver vein in every mountain, the one who holds the patent on every seed, every cell, every breath, the one who has the authority to open any door, activate any connection, and position any person anywhere at any time. That person looked at 8 billion faces on this earth today. 8 billion people, each one carrying their own fears, their own dreams, their own silent aches. And he looked through all of them and he stopped at yours. He did not pause. He stopped because he saw something in you that he has been preparing for a specific location, a specific assignment, a specific season that is ready to receive you. Billionaires don't relocate average investments. They relocate prime assets. They move what they consider irreplaceable. And if the God of the universe has issued a relocation order over your life, it is because He considers you irreplaceable. He considers your presence in the next location absolutely essential to what He is building there. Chosen one, if you feel the weight of this word settling in your spirit, if something in you is recognizing what I am saying as more than just words, I want you to make a declaration. Write these words in the comments. Right now, I am being relocated. 4 words. I am being relocated. Let the digital realm record your agreement. Let heaven hear your faith. Let the enemy hear that you know what God is doing. Write it now. I am being relocated. And as you type those words, know this: you are not going backward. You are not going sideways. You are going to exactly the place the billionaire has prepared for you. The relocation has begun. I need you to hear this with absolute clarity, because the enemy has been telling you a specific lie, and he has been telling it long enough that you started to believe it. The lie is this: you are stuck because you did something wrong. You are in the same place because you are not good enough to be somewhere better. You are displaced because God forgot your address. And tonight, I am here to destroy that lie completely. Because here is the truth. A fish does not belong in a puddle. If you put a fish designed for the ocean into a puddle, it will look wrong. It will move awkwardly. It will struggle to breathe. And if you watch it from the outside, you might think something is wrong with the fish. But nothing is wrong with the fish. Everything is wrong with the puddle. The puddle was never the fish's address. Chosen one, the life you have been trying to fit into, the relationships, the rooms, the positions that kept making you feel like something was wrong with you. Nothing was wrong with you. Everything was wrong with the location. You were a sea creature trying to survive in a puddle, and God, the billionaire who found you, is about to drop you into the ocean where you actually belong. Every wrong door that did not open was not God denying you. It was God's divine GPS refusing to accept an incorrect destination. You have tried to input addresses that were not yours, and the navigation system, which is always connected to the satellite of heaven, kept saying, recalculating, recalculating, not because you were lost, because the route you were trying to take did not match the destination encoded in your spiritual DNA. Every relationship that fell apart was God clearing the seat next to you for the right person. Every opportunity that evaporated was God removing a door that led to a room too small for what He was building in you. Every season of dryness was God making space in your capacity for a rainfall bigger than you had ever seen. None of it was punishment. All of it was positioning. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19. God said it Himself. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Do you not perceive it? That question is not accusatory. It is an invitation. God is asking, can you see it? Look past the surface of what your circumstances look like right now. Can you see what is beginning to spring up? Because the new thing is not coming. It is already springing. It is already pushing through the ground of your life. The timing of that verse is always in the present tense. I am doing, not I will do, not I am planning to do. I am doing. God is not in the future planning your breakthrough. He is in your present, actively constructing it. The new road already exists. You just have not turned the corner to see it yet. Now let me show you the pattern. Because when God relocates someone, there are signs that appear before the new location is fully visible. Signs that look like problems, but are actually preparations. Sign 1. A sudden loss of desire for the old things. Things that used to hold you, habits, circles, ambitions, started feeling hollow. What used to satisfy no longer satisfies. What used to excite you now feels empty. That is not depression. That is divine detachment. God is removing the roots that were keeping you tied to the wrong ground. Sign 2. Relationships started to shift without explanation. People who used to be constants became distant. Seasons of friendship quietly ended. The circle got smaller without a fight. That is not rejection. That is God clearing the social geography of the next season, because the people who go with you to the new location are not always the people who are with you in the old one. And there is something Israel understood about the wilderness that we often miss. The 40 years in the desert were not a navigation failure. God knew exactly where Canaan was. He created Canaan. He could see Canaan from where he stood. But Israel was not ready for Canaan yet. The wilderness was not the destination. The wilderness was the route. It was the classroom where a generation of slaves was being educated into a generation of conquerors. The suffering was not the story. The suffering was the training ground. And your season, the season that felt like wandering, it was not wasted. God was not confused about where He was taking you. He was preparing you for the weight of what is waiting there. Chosen one. If you have been carrying the quiet shame of feeling like you should be further along by now, I want you to lay it down right here, right now. You are not behind. You have been in a calibration season, and the calibration is complete. The GPS has your coordinates locked. The route has been approved. Write these words in the comments. He sees me. 3 simple words. He sees me. Not he will see me. He sees me. Present tense. He sees where you are. He sees where you are going. And He sees that you are ready. Write it now. He sees me. And as you type those words, know that the puddle is behind you. The ocean is ahead. Let me ask you something. When you pray, what do you ask for? Be honest. Most of us ask for enough. Enough money to cover the bills. Enough peace to get through the week. Enough health to keep going. Enough stability to stop lying awake, worrying about tomorrow. Just enough. We have trained ourselves to believe that just enough is the safe thing to ask for, that asking for more would be greedy, that hoping for more would be arrogant. And so we pray for a patched roof, when God is standing outside with a completely different set of blueprints. I want to share something with you that C.S. Lewis wrote, because it will change the way you see what God has been doing in your life. In Mere Christianity, Lewis was writing about how God transforms a person, and he used an image that I cannot get out of my mind. He wrote, "Imagine yourself as a living house. God comes in to rebuild that house. At first, perhaps, you can understand what He is doing. He is getting the drains right and stopping the leaks in the roof, and so on. You knew that those jobs needed doing, and so you are not surprised. But presently, He starts knocking the house about in a way that hurts abominably and does not seem to make sense. What on earth is He up to? The explanation is that He is building quite a different house from the one you thought of, throwing out a new wing here, putting on an extra floor there, running up towers, making courtyards. You thought you were going to be made into a decent little cottage, but He is building a palace. He intends to come and live in it Himself. A palace, not a cottage. A palace that He intends to come and live in Himself. Let that settle for a moment. God does not inhabit cottages. He builds palaces. Not because you deserve a palace, but because He wants a palace to live in. And the palace He is building is you. Now, I want to talk about the cottage mentality. The cottage mentality is the theology of smallness. It whispers things like, I just need enough. I just need to get through. I just need to survive this season. I will settle for a smaller version of the dream because at least that version feels achievable. I will settle for this relationship even though it doesn't feel right because at least I am not alone. I will stay in this position even though it is draining the life from me because at least it is stable. We choose the known discomfort over the unknown blessing. We choose the familiar ceiling over an open sky. And I understand that. The cottage is familiar. You have memorized its cracks. You know exactly which floorboard creaks. You have learned to navigate its limitations. And familiar, as Lewis would say, is seductive. But familiar is not always faithful. And the God who found you is not interested in your comfort with the cottage. He is interested in finishing the palace. Here is what the demolition felt like. It felt like a relationship you thought was permanent, suddenly ending. It felt like a career path that seemed solid, crumbling beneath your feet. It felt like a community you were rooted in, scattering overnight. It felt like a season of silence from God, when your prayers felt like they stopped at the ceiling. And in every one of those moments, the enemy told you it was punishment. He told you that the walls falling was proof that God had abandoned you. He told you that the dismantling of the old meant there was nothing new coming. But he was lying, because architects do not demolish buildings because they hate them. They demolish buildings because they have a better plan for the land. The demolition was not divine rejection. The demolition was divine redesign. God was not tearing down your life because it was worthless. He was tearing it down because what He has planned for you cannot fit on top of the old foundation. The new thing requires a new foundation, and the foundation had to be laid from scratch. When a palace is being constructed, the site is loud. It is not quiet and peaceful and organized. There is heavy machinery. There are walls being removed. There are materials everywhere. And if you walked onto the site, in the middle of construction, you would not see a palace. You would see chaos. You would see a mess. You would see something that looks like it is getting worse, not better. And if you had never seen a palace before, if you had only ever lived in cottages, you might look at that construction site and think, this is a disaster. This cannot be intentional. Whoever is in charge has clearly lost control. But the architect sees it differently. He walks the site and he sees exactly what is being built. He sees the finished version. Before the first wall is finished, he knows exactly where every room will be, every wing, every floor, every tower. And when he looks at the noise, the confusion, the disruption, the mess of your current season, he does not panic. He smiles because he knows what is coming. Chosen one, if you have been looking at the construction side of your life and calling it a disaster, I need you to change. What you see, it is not a disaster. It is a palace under construction. The mess is not evidence of God's absence. It is evidence of God's activity. The walls are down because the palace requires more square footage than the cottage could provide. God doesn't patch you, He rebuilds you. God doesn't fix the cottage, He builds the palace, and He is building it for His presence to inhabit, which means what He is doing in you is not just for you, it is for everyone who will come into contact with what He is building. The palace is not a private retreat, it is a house of refuge for the people. He is sending into your life in the next season. Write these words in the comments. I receive the upgrade. 4 words. I receive the upgrade. Not the patch, not the repair. The upgrade, the palace version of your life. Write it now. I receive the upgrade. And as you type those words, stop apologizing for the construction site. Stop calling the demolition a disaster. The architect is working, and the palace is almost complete. I want to tell you about a woman named Ruth, and I want you to pay attention, not just to what happened to her, but to how it happened, because the how is what God wants to show you about your own life today. Ruth was a widow. She was a foreigner in a land that was not hers. She had no status, no family connections, no network, no platform, no strategy. She did not have a 5-year plan. She did not have a mentor who could open doors. She did not have a resume that would impress anyone. What she had was a field and a decision. Every morning she got up and went to work in the field, not the best field, not the most visible field, not the field where the important people were watching. She showed up quietly, faithfully, consistently in her assignment, and one afternoon, without any arrangement on her part, without any campaign or strategy, the most influential man in the region walked into the field and saw her. The book of Ruth, chapter 2, verse 3, says something remarkable. It says, "And her hap was to light on a part of the field belonging unto Boaz." Her hap, that word hap, means chance, as if the writer wants you to think this was a coincidence, as if Ruth just happened to be in that particular corner of the field, as if the timing was random. But nothing in the economy of heaven is random. Her hap was actually divine orchestration. She did not choose that corner of the field. Something drew her there. Something invisible guided her steps to the exact location where Boaz's eyes would land. God wrote the coordinates before Ruth took her first step that morning. And what looked like chance was the billionaire positioning his prime asset directly in the path of the connection he had prepared for her. The coincidence was a divine appointment disguised as an ordinary workday. Chosen one, you are in the field right now. You are in your assignment. Maybe it feels ordinary. Maybe it feels like no one important is watching. Maybe you have been showing up faithfully, quietly, and the field feels empty. But I need you to understand what Ruth did not know in that moment. There is a Boaz walking into your field, not necessarily a romantic partner, although that may be true for some of you. I mean a person, a connection, a door, a company, a divine moment that is currently walking in the direction of your exact location. You did not arrange this encounter. You cannot arrange this encounter. You could not plan your way into this connection because the billionaire is the one orchestrating it. And the only thing he asks of you is the same thing. He asked of Ruth, stay in the field, show up, keep working, keep being excellent in the assignment you already have. Because the person God is sending is not looking for someone who abandoned their field. They are looking for someone who was faithful in it. There is something else I need to show you. Something that happened before Boaz saw Ruth. His foreman saw her first. Boaz walked into the field and asked, "Whose young woman is this?" And the foreman, who had been watching, gave a report. He told Boaz, "She came from Moab. She asked permission to work. She has been here since morning. She has barely rested." There was a report given about Ruth to a powerful man. A report she did not write. A recommendation she did not ask for. And the same thing is happening in your life right now. You may not know this, but your name has been spoken in rooms you were never invited into. People who have watched how you work, how you handle pressure, how you treat people, how you show up when no one is applauding, have given reports, not to you, but to the person God has been preparing to make the connection. There is a chain of divine attention operating in your life that you are not fully aware of. The billionaire's movers are already briefing the billionaire. The foreman has already given the report, and Boaz is already walking toward your row. Now let me tell you what Ruth did not do. She did not leave the field because the harvest was slow. She did not compare her pile to the pile of the woman working beside her. She did not perform for an audience. She did not change her work ethic based on whether anyone was watching. She did not run to the far field where Boaz usually walked to make herself more visible. She just leaned. She just showed up. She just did the work that was in front of her, faithfully, humbly, consistently, and the encounter found her there. This is the Ruth principle. Your job is not to find the encounter. Your job is to be in your field when the encounter comes looking for you. And your field, the place you are in right now, the assignment you are faithfully working, is exactly where God told the encounter to look for you. You are not in the wrong place. You are in the appointed place. The billionaire knew which field to send Boaz to, and he knows which field to send your encounter to as well. Chosen one. If you have been faithful in a field that felt invisible, if you have been showing up when no one seemed to notice, if you have been doing the right thing in the right spirit without the recognition you deserved, I want you to make a declaration. Write these words in the comments. I was placed here on purpose. 6 words. I was placed here on purpose, not accidentally, not as a punishment, on purpose. The field you are in is your divine address for this moment, and the Boaz who is walking toward you can see you from where he stands. Write it now. I was placed here on purpose. And as you type those words, stop looking for the exit. The encounter is coming to you. Stay in the field. I need you to stop and pay attention to something you have been feeling that you could not name. It is not anxiety. It is not restlessness. In the negative sense, it is something different. A holy discomfort, a divine pull, a gravitational tug from somewhere beyond your current horizon, as if something in the distance is calling your name and your soul is leaning toward it. Even when your feet haven't moved yet, you have felt it. Maybe you felt it driving to work and suddenly felt the road wasn't yours anymore. Maybe you felt it in the middle of a conversation that used to energize you and realized that it had gone quiet inside. Maybe you felt it lying in the dark, not afraid, just aware that something is shifting. That feeling is not a malfunction. It is a signal. It is the magnetic pull of your appointed location, calling you forward. And when you feel it, the right response is not to suppress it. It is to lean into it. Because that pull is the billionaire reeling in his asset. The psalmist understood this. He wrote it in Psalm chapter 37, verse 23. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Ordered, not suggested, not recommended, ordered every single step, not just the major ones, not just the big decisions, and the clear open doors, every step. The step you take when you don't know what you are walking toward. The step you take in the middle of the night when you can't sleep and you feel the pull of something unknown. The step you take when the old things are losing their grip and the new things are not yet visible. Every one of those steps ordered by the Lord. And here is the part we often miss. He delighteth in his way. God takes delight in the steps he orders for you. He is not reluctantly leading you. He is not begrudgingly pointing the direction. He delights in the path he has prepared for you, which means the place he is taking you is a place he has designed with pleasure, a place he has been looking forward to bringing you to. Now let me show you the signs, because the relocation does not arrive all at once. It comes in signals, and if you know what to look for, you can see that it has already started. Sign number 1, the wrong things are losing their hold. Think about habits, patterns, people that used to have a grip on you, behaviors you tried to break for years and couldn't, mindsets that used to chain you, conversations that used to pull you backward every time they came. And recently, quietly, something has changed. Not because you tried harder, not because you made a new resolution, but because the attachment just started to release on its own. That is not willpower, that is divine extraction. When God relocates an asset, He first loosens it from its current environment. He removes the suction of the old location so that the pull of the new one can be felt. The things that are losing their grip on you are releasing their grip because God's hand is already pulling you in the opposite direction. You are being extracted. Sign number 2, unexpected connections. A message from someone you hadn't heard from in years. An invitation to something you didn't apply for. A door that cracked open in a direction you weren't even facing. An introduction made by someone who barely knows you to someone who can change everything. These connections did not come from your strategy. You did not engineer them. You did not network your way into them. They arrived unexpectedly from unexpected directions because the billionaire sent them. When God relocates, He sends movers you did not hire. He organizes logistics you were not consulted about. He arranges encounters you could not have planned on your best day. The unexpected connections you have been experiencing are not coincidence. They are coordination. The relocation team is already working. Sign number 3. The internal language is changing. What you think about at 2 in the morning has changed. The things you search for online have shifted. The books pulling at your attention, the conversations that light you up, the ideas that won't leave you alone. They are different from what they were 2 years ago, and that shift inside you, in what you hunger for, is not random. It is your spiritual appetite adjusting to the cuisine of the new location. The new location has a different menu, and God has already begun changing your taste buds so that when you arrive, you will be hungry for exactly what is being served there. Your desires are being calibrated for your destination. The restlessness you feel is your soul recognizing that the new address is calling, and the shift in your inner world is the first evidence that you have already partially arrived. Chosen one, I need you to hear this clearly. The relocation is not coming. The relocation has already begun. Heaven filed the paperwork before you sat down here tonight. The billionaire who owns every resource, every door, every connection on earth found you. And he does not lose his investments in transit. He does not relocate prime assets and let them get lost along the way. He is moving you. He is moving you toward the field where Boaz is already walking, toward the palace the architect has already designed, toward the coordinates the divine GPS has already locked. The only question now is whether you will agree with the move, whether you will stop fighting the divine extraction, whether you will stop trying to put roots back down in the location God has already cleared you from. The movers are here. The truck is packed. The new address is ready. Say yes. Say yes to the relocation. Write these words in the comments. I am ready for the new location. 6 words. I am ready for the new location. Let every spiritual principality in your atmosphere hear your agreement. Let the billionaire who found you hear the sound of his assets saying yes. Write it now. I am ready for the new location. And as you type those words, feel the weight of the old location begin to lift from your shoulders. You are not stuck. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are being relocated by the wealthiest, most powerful, most strategic mind in the universe. And he has never lost a single asset. He decided to move. The billionaire who found you did not find you to retire you. He did not relocate you so you could finally rest in a comfortable place and spend the rest of your days doing nothing. That is not how the billionaire operates. He is strategic with every asset he owns. He does not move something precious to put it on a shelf. He moves it to the place where it will generate the greatest return. And so I need to tell you something about the new location, something that will change how you receive it. The new location is not a vacation. It is not an escape from all difficulty. It is not a place where your problems disappear and life becomes effortless. The new location is an assignment, a place where your specific combination of your pain, your preparation, your gifts, your failures, your endurance becomes a tool in the hands of the billionaire to do something only you can do. And here is what I want you to understand about that assignment. In the new location, the problems are different. They are not smaller. In some cases, they will be bigger, but they are problems that match your preparation, problems you were built to solve, challenges that require exactly the kind of person the fire forged you to be. In the old location, the challenges were too large for the person you were then. You were a sea creature trying to survive a puddle, and the problems of the puddle felt overwhelming because you were never built for a puddle. In the new location, the challenges match the creature. The ocean is vast. Yes. The ocean is deep. Yes. The ocean has currents you have never navigated. Yes. But you are built for the ocean. And when you are in the right environment, you will discover capacities in yourself that the puddle never allowed you to access. The new location does not just give you a better life. It gives you a truer version of yourself. C.S. Lewis, in a letter attributed to him in his final years, wrote some of the most quietly powerful words I have ever read. He said, "There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. Far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. Not slightly better, not marginally improved, far, far better. The gap between where you are and where the billionaire is taking you is not a small distance. It is not a minor upgrade. It is a transformation so complete that the version of you who arrives at the new location will look back at where you are now and understand why every door that didn't open was a mercy, why every relationship that ended was a gift, why every season of waiting was a preparation. Far, far better things are ahead of you, not in a vague, distant, someday kind of way, in an actual, specific, divine appointment kind of way. The far, far better thing has your name on it. It is already prepared. It is already waiting. And the billionaire who prepared it is already standing there, waiting to show you what he has been building while you were faithful in the field. So let me give you your commission, because this is the part most people miss. They receive the relocation, but they don't receive the assignment. They arrive in the new location and they think, now I can rest. Now I can finally just receive. But the billionaire does not send you to the new location to become passive. He sends you there to become deployed. When you step into the new location, walk in with the authority of someone who was tried in the fire and came out as gold. Walk in with the wisdom of someone who learned in the wilderness what they could not have learned in the promised land. Walk in with the compassion of someone who knows what it feels like to be invisible, because there are people in your new location who are invisible right now, and God is positioning you to be the person who sees them the way Boaz saw Ruth. You were found so that you could find others. You were relocated so that you could make room for those who are still in the puddle. You were seen so that you would know how to see. This is the commission the billionaire is giving you today. Not just elevation, deployment. Chosen one, you have made it through every act of this message. And I believe it is because something in you recognized what was being said as more than words. You recognized it as yours, as a word that carries your name, as a divine transmission from the billionaire who found you to the asset he's about to deploy. And before I close, I want you to receive it. Not just hear it, receive it. Write these words in the comments. I receive it. 3 simple words. I receive it. Not I hope so. Not I'll believe it when I see it. I receive it. Present tense, as a declaration of faith, as an act of agreement with the plan the billionaire wrote before you were born. Write it now. I receive it. And as you type those words, receive the peace that comes with agreeing with the plan of God. The puddle is behind you. The palace is ahead. The field has served its purpose. And the Boaz, who has been walking toward you, is almost in your row. Let me pray over you. Father, I stand in agreement right now for the chosen one who received this word today. I thank you that you are not a God who loses his investments in transit. I thank you that you wrote the coordinates of their new location long before they knew they needed one. I pray now, seal the relocation, protect every step between here and there. Let no assignment of the enemy, no fear, no counterfeit open door, no voice of discouragement cause them to return to the location. You have already cleared them from. Open the doors that no man can shut. Send the connections they could not arrange. Let the Boaz you have prepared walk into their field at the appointed hour. And when they arrive at the new location, let them recognize it. Let them not miss it because it looks different from what they imagined. Let them walk in with the authority, the wisdom, and the compassion of a person who has been prepared by fire and approved by the King. Commission them now for your glory and for the people who are waiting for them. In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.